How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk to you about the crypto market. We have some news that's affecting the stock market and the crypto market. It kind of explains why we're going up today. We have some news on Solana, some good news and some bad news on the hack recently. We also have Saylor stepping down from Microstrategy and announcing what he's going to be doing next, and the stock's acting in an interesting way. And we also have a short squeeze possibility that I want to talk to you about. So if you don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. Turn on the bell notification so you know right when I post a video, because last night, just at the drop of a hat, I made a video on the Solana hack to hopefully save some people money. So it's important to get these kinds of updates as quickly as possible if you can. Now, there's also a link down there to BlockFi where you can get up to $1,000 in Bitcoin just from starting to trade on their platform. There are two links underneath there. One has 1,000 at the end. Just read the offer and you'll be able to tell which one you want to click on. So definitely check that out. Now, crypto is looking pretty good today, up just over 1%. Not really too much news, but the stock market's doing really well today. And I think there are two main reasons for that. First of all, we actually had OPEC raise their production. So they announced output hike of 100,000 barrels per day, which actually is a very small increase. It's actually the second smallest increase that we've seen from them. The last one that was smaller being back in 1986. So this is positive news that they raised the output, but it's not really going to make that much of an impact. When this news came out, you could see that we actually expected more of an increase. So the price of oil actually went up to over $102, but then it's starting to lower throughout the day down to about $97.40. Now, I believe this is the major reason that the stock market's up today. You can see that the NASDAQ is actually up about 2.64%. I think, again, this is the main reason because so many different companies use oil. The fact is, when oil comes down in price, that helps so many different companies. It's a major contributor to a lot of these different companies' expenses because they have to ship, they have to produce. A lot of companies still use oil. So that is, again, one of the major reasons that the market's up today. I think another one is the fact that Pelosi left Taiwan. A lot of people still are worried about what this means for China and U.S. relations, but the fact is she did get out of Taiwan without any kind of force, which is a positive thing. Now, moving on to something more specific in crypto, we got news last night, of Solana wallets being targeted. And there's good news and bad news to this. First of all, the bad news is there are over 8,000 people that got affected by this, or 8,000 wallets, and they still don't know what this is coming from. So the main thinking is this is some kind of third-party hack with either Phantom or Magic Eden. Now, Phantom doesn't think that it's a Phantom-specific issue at this time, but also it's not any problem with Solana itself. And you can kind of see that Solana rebounded after the original news that they had a lot of funds coming off of their wallets. You can see that they fell about 10% within a few, really about an hour, and then they've slowly recovered back almost to the point that they were at yesterday before this hack. Overall, it was a pretty small hack, just about $6 to $7 to $8 million, but it still sucks and it's still bad publicity. But again, it's not anything wrong with the blockchain itself. And then before we talk about Saylor and MicroStrategy, I want to give you a bit of, I don't want to say hopium, but a bit of hope maybe. So I was just thinking about the kinds of returns that we can see over the coming years in crypto. And if Bitcoin just does an 8x over the next 8 years, I realize that that seems pretty significant, but that's still under $200,000 per coin, just 3x from basically where we were at the top. It's about 190,000 actually, an 8x from here. So still less than 1/3 of gold's market cap today, almost a fourth, and that's still 8 years in the future. So I don't think that's a crazy mark to hit. The fact is, if we did that and you had half of a Bitcoin now, that would be a 30% annual return if Bitcoin does an 8x over 8 years. And if you just added $100 a week, still a lot to some people, not a lot to other people, but just a significant amount, right? $5,200 a year. The fact is, you'd have about $301,000 after that 8-year period. Now, of course, if you could add more, that's great. If you have more now, that's great. But you can see that you can gain a lot of wealth, even just dollar cost averaging into something, if it's going to do as well as Bitcoin, right? I am dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. I'm also dollar cost averaging into some other investments as well. But the fact is that we can still make a great return because Bitcoin is going to do so well from here, in my opinion. And just dollar cost averaging, not even timing the bottom of the market, can still make you a ton of money in the end. And if you want to take this one step further, of course, I'm still trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be really conservative because I think by 2030, Bitcoin probably will be worth as much as gold or more. But even at about half the market cap of gold's market cap now, that would be about a 38% return over the next 8 years. If you start with one Bitcoin now and you were able to add $200 weekly, this would make you over a millionaire. Now, we did get some news as well. Microstrategy CEO Michael Saylor is stepping down. This is really hitting a lot of headlines right now, especially because they just had a $1 billion loss on their books because of Bitcoin impairment charges. Now, he is not leaving because he doesn't believe in Bitcoin. He's not leaving because he doesn't believe in MicroStrategy. He's leaving because he wants to focus on spreading Bitcoin adoption more and figuring out how they can buy more Bitcoin, being more creative in that way. So he is still going to play a role in MicroStrategy, but he's not going to be the CEO. Now, a lot of people took this as a negative thing right away. However, I think this is actually positive. When you buy MicroStrategy, you're buying not the software business, really. You're buying it because you want to have a position in Bitcoin or related to Bitcoin that's directly correlated to Bitcoin. And if Michael Saylor can increase their holdings, if he can do it a little bit smarter and doesn't have to worry about the day-to-day business as much, I think that's a positive thing. And while the stock did fall down originally after hearing this, you can see it's up 13% today. And this is on a day where Bitcoin really isn't moving much at all. So why is this happening? Well, there might be a possible short squeeze. So the short interest in MicroStrategy is up 1.2 million shares over the past 30 days. And this is a record amount. A record 51% of MicroStrategy's available shares are currently sold short, carrying a notional value of $1.3 billion according to the financial analytics firm S3 Partners. The all-time high of 4.73 million shares shorted has soared by 1.2 million shares over the last 30 days alone. So you can see that obviously a lot of people are betting against Bitcoin and betting against MicroStrategy as well in this difficult time. But that means that there's a lot of potential upside for MicroStrategy, not just in Bitcoin appreciation, but also in a potential short squeeze. You can see big moves like this, 13, 14, 15% moves, even more in a day where Bitcoin's not really moving that much, just because people can get squeezed. Now, I don't necessarily think that's what's happening today. I think there's a little bit of that, probably some people just trying to reduce the amount of shorts that they have, and that is causing it to go up a bit. But I would assume that if it was a true short squeeze, we would see it move up even quicker than this. Now, let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know what you're doing right now in the market. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you just waiting? Let me know. Again, you can check out the links underneath the video to BlockFi, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.